Hope everyone is doing well tonight. Thank you so much for joining me on Not Bobby Durkins because I am not Bobby Durkins, at least not here. If you're brand new here to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. I know you hear all these guys on and women on YouTube going, hit the subscribe button. It's almost like, yeah, I know. Seriously, it's free. Second reason, it's free. Third reason, it's free. So subscribe, hit the notifications. That notifies you, lets you know when, that's the little bell there, lets you know when I'm going live, and you'll hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel. Pass this along to any forums that you're part of. I do appreciate it. I feel like I'm putting out some really good stuff here. And yeah, I'm going to dive into something else I think that is legitimate. Cade Klubnik has come under fire for his performance 2 nights ago on the Orange Bowl. And just to let everyone know, on my side, I'm actually minimizing the chat section so I can pay a little better attention and get to the point and not ramble so much. And then I'll address comments in just a second. So please, hopefully you understand that. But if you're someone who views here all the time, you know that I'll end up turning a 15-minute video into a 30-minute video just by that. But Cade Klubnik, one of the top quarterbacks, one of the top players coming out of high school last year, signs with Clemson. Clemson did not have the season that everybody thought that they were going to have in 2021. While a lot of guys was jumping ship and getting better offers from schools with a lot of money, with endless NIL money, Cade Klubnik stood true, signed the dotted line, was an early enrollee at Clemson, and he did exactly what he said he was going to do. And he said he committed to Clemson. He was going to come play for Clemson, and he did. Cade understood the crazy situation that was going on with DJ. He got into the Georgia Tech game, and we saw what happens. I'm going to pause right there. I've kind of even jumped ahead of myself. Cade Klubnik has been set up for failure since day one at Clemson. You say, how, Brian? How? Well, first of all, in the very first game of the year at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, a team that's terrible. We were moving the ball, but it did not look good. Things didn't look comfortable. And they put Cade in. First collegiate drive, scores a touchdown. Now, let's break that apart. You could say, well, the opposing team didn't have film on him. They had film on DJ. Okay, fair point. But he still did it, a kid right out of high school. Now, yes, he was playing at one of the highest levels, if not the highest level of high school football in the United States. But the kid, until the other night against Tennessee, has not lost a football game since the 6th flipping grade. You're not looking at a loser, folks. You're also not looking at a kid who played in your local high school. You know, the state of South Carolina has some good football teams here, and we had some good talent to come out of it. We're nothing compared to Texas. Nothing compared to Texas. Most states, even the top ones, still don't compare to Texas. So this guy was not playing an easy schedule. This guy was not playing against lackluster talent. This guy was not playing against the local redneck school that in between farming and souping up their trucks and meeting to drink ice cold beer in Boone's Farm in the local Walmart high school, or Walmart parking lot high school. Walmart parking lot. It looks more like a high school. And they were just lackluster talent. He was beating up on them. No, he was winning at the highest level. He lost his first game the other night. So we're talking about an elite player already. And instead of letting this guy, even if you were going to give DJ a shot, instead of working him into the system, here's what they did. They pulled him. Scored that quick touchdown. The team totally looked different. They pulled him. And from that point on, they did not put him out on the field with the first team offense Every time they put him out on the field, he was not with the first team offense. Maybe a few members was out there, but he was not with the first team offense. I saw it. I was there in person. I saw it on TV. There. Until the Syracuse game. DJ, which I've done several videos now, I believe DJ was in the wrong system. I think that DJ was not developed. I think this goes back to coaching. I've had some of you show up out of the woodwork to tell me that how wrong you think I am on DJ. Now, let's pause right there. There's some of you, I mean, I've had some of you come to me and say, hey, listen, I actually agree with you on a lot of things you say. The majority of the things you say, but I'm going to tell you, Brian, I really think that you're wrong about DJ. First, let's stop right there. You and I should be able to disagree, okay? You and I should even be able to get stern with each other, have a little friction. I think that people are too thin-skinned. Now, we shouldn't become jerks and personal, but we should be able to disagree with each other. We shouldn't be rude. We should be able to disagree. That's the reason society's going to hell. Everybody's running around playing an HR department. And HR departments are only created to make sure the company's not sued and lose money. You need to get that straight. HR departments, no offense to anyone who works in HR. There's some good people in HR, but most HR departments are the problem. Because everybody, you got to walk on eggshells. You and I can disagree. But y'all telling me, hey, Brian, I agree with you on a lot of things, but I'm telling you, DJ is trash. That was one of your words. You know, I hope the best for him, but I'm saying his playability is trash. He seems like a nice guy. The trash part is about his play. And I'm going to tell you, I could be wrong. It will not be the first time, and it won't be the last. But I'm telling you, he's in the wrong system. He was not developed. They knew exactly his playing style, and they still recruited him anyway. Do you understand me? Do you understand what I'm saying here? You have to recruit based on style and scheme. Put Tom Brady in Clemson's scheme, he'd get his head ripped off. Why? Because he's not an RPO quarterback. That's exactly what we run, or a version of it. Also, we don't have the line to protect him. Poor Cade was running for his life the other night. Poor Cade was running for his flipping life the other night. And some of us owes DJ an apology. Man, he's got to get mobile. Why? Because the guys along the front is not blocking for him? You mean the coaches are not scheming for what might be coming? You know, the guys who's paid $500,000, $1 million to coach? That's their job? They didn't scheme for that? But I think that DJ was not in the right system. And I hope him the very best. I'm going to tell you what I really hope. I hope he goes to Oregon. Jonathan Smith gets in his head. I hope he, develops me. I just burped. I don't care. Hope he gets in the good system. I'd love to see him go out and throw for 3,500 yards, take them to at least the Rose Bowl next year, win it, and improve his draft stock to actually a good draft stock. And it would be basically looking back at Clemson going, yeah, it's not your players. But DJ was not doing well. He's in the wrong system, not being developed. And if they are going to play him, they're not scheming for his abilities. But they still sent him out there. They still sent him out there to be crucified. I don't know how that's helping anybody. And then they sent Cade out there in the Syracuse game. And we saw what happened. He won the ball game. Folks, that was another loss we should have had. That was another loss that Clemson should have had. Period. Against a team who is okay. Syracuse is not a great team. Oh, they always play up for Clemson. They shouldn't. We should be stomping their head in with talent and coaching. Well, let me rephrase that. With talent and some coaching. And after that point, what did they do with Cade? You would think that people who really supposed to be experts in their field would step back and say, you know what, we need to start, we see the writing on the wall. We need to start working in Cade into the rotation. We need to rotate him in as much as possible. Get him acclimated to where if he has to take over, it's not all this load on his shoulders all at one time. Sounds fair, right? It does. It does. If a guy like me in his bonus room can figure that out, I and for some and pause right there. For some of you former players, for some of you guys who I even had a guy come on here who claimed that he's like a positions coach at some school out in California. Said, I bet you couldn't even tell me the difference between a cover, blah, 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 blah. Listen to me. I could absolutely care less if I can tell the difference. They are being paid $1 million, half a million, all the way up to $10 million to the head man to be able to make the difference, make the calls, see the difference, develop the players. Don't you give me that. That is a yes man's mentality. That's another reason this country has went to hell. I believe in authority. I believe in honor and authority, but I believe in honor in submitting yourself to good authority. Now, there's some authorities you just can't get away with. Like our government, it's totally corrupt. It's just ridiculously corrupt, but I don't want to get in trouble with them. But if I have a chance to put someone in a leadership position that would do better, sign me up. I'm going to do it. I'm not just going to be a yes man. And that's what some of you are. You're yes men. You will never admit it to yourself. You played the game. Some of you are like this guy who comes, I played the game and just it's difficult with the money they're paying them. That money is so big because they're paying someone who's supposed to be a specialist. I've given this analogy, a neurologist. Do you understand why a neurologist is paid so well? A neurosurgeon is paid so well? It's because not just anybody can do the job. In fact, very few can. So their specialty, their intelligence, their expertise, right down to the way they can troubleshoot on the fly during a surgery when something goes wrong, they're paid so well because only they have that expertise. You don't shell out $1 million a year to someone who's just blah. You don't, or just kind of good. I'm reminded of that. If anybody's never seen this, please go to Google or YouTube. Go to YouTube and type in Will Ferrell as the devil on Saturday Night Live, and it goes back to early 2000s where Garth Brooks was hosting, and he's a songwriter. On there, he does this skit where he's a songwriter, and he makes this. He says out loud that he would do anything to have a number one song. He was just struggling. He wasn't making it. And then the devil, who happens to be Will Ferrell, shows up, and he's like, "Hey, if you commit yourself to me, I will. I promise I'll make this happen." So Garth Brooks says, "Sounds like a deal to me." So he shakes on it. Come to find out, the devil can't play the guitar well, and come to find out, he's a terrible songwriter. And in the middle of it, Garth Brooks goes, I thought you were supposed to be good at this. And Will Ferrell, as hilarious as he is, dressed as the devil, goes, man, this is hard. That's how I feel like some of these coaches are doing. Man, this is hard. It's like, dude, then give up the $400,000 a year. You're supposed to know what you're doing. That's the reason you're getting the 400,000, 500,000, $1 million plus a year. At this point, I believe that there are people who are, making $40,000, $50,000 a year at their jobs who is more of an expert in it than some of these guys who are being paid a lot of money, who's whining that common people like you and I are looking at them going, don't you supposed to be the expert? This doesn't make sense. You say, Brian, you've got off Cade Klubnik. I set it up. These very people supposed to set up Cade Klubnik for success. They didn't. And then he came into the UNC ACC championship game, did what he did, because North Carolina's defense is not good. I don't know if you watched that or not, but they're terrible. And then he was supposed to go play in an Orange Bowl against a team who had stopped Alabama. had to play against the likes of Todd Monken at Georgia, a guy who schemes out the wazoo. Todd Monken can coach offense, folks. I don't know how he'll be as a head coach. I know very little about him other than this. That man knows how to call offense. Somebody in orange and white who makes the head decision should figure out how to find somebody like Todd Monken. And the prerequisite should not be whether he coached or played at Clemson before. The prerequisite should be if he can coach football, and then we go to, is he a good person? Would he cover up rape? Would he sell drugs to minors? Would he spy on the girls at the local middle school while they shower? You know, stuff like that that does matter. The first prerequisite that you start off with is not if he is from Clemson, ever played at Clemson, ever drove through Clemson. It is, can the man coach football? They did not set up Cade Klubnik and for success. And now you have people in my community who will take shots at me for looking and saying how ridiculous Clemson is not using their talent. They're wasting their talent. And now they're turning on Cade Klubnik? What? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Turning on a kid who was thrown out there by the well-paid adults and was not prepared. They could have worked him in every game from the Georgia Tech game down to that, and I'll guarantee you the other night would have been a lot better. That is one of the number one ways I know that Clemson football is at least a stalemate of where they're at. Winning 10 games. Had a Tennessee fan come on here. They were very kind. They were very nice. They said, hey, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, but warned me, said, look, you need to understand that winning 10 games is a big deal, and I think y'all were a little spoiled. You just can't go hire anybody. I understand exactly what you're saying, and I politely rebut in this way. I've not called for Dabo Swinney's head. I've called for Dabo Swinney to get back to what made him a winner. So if the option is get back to how you used to operate, or you're going to take your ball and go home and you're going to quit, what just happened there? That's okay. Next, I'm not calling for Dabo Swinney to fire anybody and just rehire anybody just to make a change. I've always jokingly said this. When people talk about, we need to make a change. Okay. And I'm talking about just in general life stuff. People will be like, we need to make a change. Let's just do something different. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. I could start blow drying my hair with a blowtorch, and that would be a change. It'd be stupid. I'd probably be dead. Have no more hair, whether I make it or not, whether I live or die. No, the proper change is to do something different. It's to go after someone who is qualified to run the offense, to develop the players. And after Swinney's post-conference, post-game conference the other night, he said they're going to keep working hard, but they're, basically nothing's going to change, folks. Did you see Nick Saban at the trophy presentation for the Sugar Bowl? Did any of you watch that? I challenge you to go back and watch that. The guy had just shellacked Kansas State. Could have beat Kansas State even more. I think out of respect for Klieman, he didn't. But he ran the score up really, really fast just to show everybody still got it. He lost 2 games by a total of 4 points? Oh, yeah, but it's still got. Listen, you may hate Nick Saban. I'm not particularly. I'm at neutral with him. I could see it being absolutely hell to work with him. I could see that. He gets results, doesn't he? He realizes that the reason that he is at Alabama, they hired him not to win 10 games. They hired him to win championships. And his record says that. He has 7 national championships, folks. And that 70-year-old man was standing on stage with his arms crossed. Coach Saban, we're about to give you a trophy that basically every other team in the country would love to have right now. Aren't you happy? Yeah. Folks, that's a difference. When the goal is winning championships versus whatever is going on at Clemson right now. Cade Klubnik was not set up for success because championship mindset is no longer there. Win 10 games, win the ACC because the ACC is not that tough. What would really be showing is if Florida State came back to be Florida State and Miami came back to be Miami, to where Clemson would say, even if they beat Florida State, they would have to play a Miami team that was just unbelievable. And I know some of my SEC folks in here is going, SEC. Let me tell you this. The SEC is Georgia, Bama, and now Tennessee. The rest is a bunch of inconsistent football teams. That gets in their head when they start seeing other teams out there play. Let me tell you this. Ohio State lost by 1 point to Georgia. 1 point to Georgia. Had players missing everywhere. They were not scared of Georgia. I'm far from an Ohio State fan. I do not like Ohio State. No offense, Sue Kavanaugh. Think the world of you. And I've got some good Ohio State following in here. No offense to you. I'm not an Ohio State fan. Ohio State was not scared of them. They were not scared of them last night. Most of the SEC is scared of Georgia. Most of the SEC is scared of Alabama. Scared to death. What might they do? What might they do? They might do something. Ohio State lost that game last night. Georgia didn't win it. But Georgia will, I think, win the national championship. I'll be pulling for TCU, but I think Georgia's going to win it. Vegas opened up, 13-point favorite automatically for Georgia. Georgia was put on alert last night, and they're going to bring their A game, and they're going to win another national championship because in Georgia, they're focused on winning national championships. Cade Klubnik was not set up for success because championship mindset is not in Clemson, South Carolina anymore. Taking up for coaching moves, taking up for decisions on the field, taking up for hiring people who probably should not even be coaching, calling the plays at a school like Clemson. Maybe they need to develop somewhere else. Maybe Clemson's not their style. I don't know. But my point in saying this, you put an 18-year-old boy out there against a team who had played Georgia, Alabama. I'm trying to think of any other good teams they played that was worthwhile. They shellacked LSU, beat the piss out of LSU, and you didn't prepare him throughout the season because you were still playing games with DJ. You're still playing games with DJ's emotions, with his future, with his player development. You did it. And now you have part of this fan base who I hope they're drunk, who instead of pointing back going, you did not set up this young man for success. Now they're turning on him. If I was Cade Klubnik, I'd hit the transfer portal right now and I'd find me somebody who would develop me. That's what I would do. I would not stay in Clemson, South Carolina right now because they're not developing football players, especially quarterbacks. They're developing defensive players, but they are not developing on the offensive side of the ball. I'm going to beat this drum until the head on that drum is busted. Trevor Lawrence was no better at the end of his junior year than he was at the end of his very first freshman year where he won the national championship. No player development. Tyson Pomachew, however you pronounce his name, was not developed. Guy was a 4-star out of Connecticut or something like that. They were afraid to put him on the field. Why? They didn't develop him. DJ recruited him into the wrong system and didn't adjust the system, but kept shoving his big tail out there. And they let everybody rain hell down on him, but they did nothing for him personally. Player development. The wide receivers. Justin Ross, I knew he had the neck injury thing and so on, and we can talk about that. But I'm telling you, there was much more going on with Justin Ross. There's more with Dakari Collins leaving. That guy could block downfield. He blocked his butt off. We need wide receivers who block down the field. There's a development issue in Clemson, South Carolina. And it comes from you have to take Cade Klubnik and you have to set him up for success. Considering how he did in that game, I think we should be applauding him because right down to his coaching staff's lack of preparation was against him. He wasn't just playing against Tennessee. No, he was playing against an entire season of poor coaching decisions and poor player development. And I am personally sick of watching these boys. I call them boys. Somebody told me recently, that could be an offensive statement. Oh my God. Please, just go live in your bubble world. Please. They're boys. 18-year-old. We look at these guys who has extraordinary talent. And they are thrown onto a stage that most of us, even as grown men, could not even survive. But they're kids. I don't like to say kids because that means any decision they make, it's like, well, he's just a kid. No, he's not a kid. He's a boy. He's a guy. This young man was not put in a good position. He wasn't. He was not. His coaching staff failed him, and they had an entire season to prepare him for this moment, and they didn't. Until Clemson football, especially on the offensive side of the ball, admits their failures, properly addresses them. Don't quit. Don't say I need to go coach football somewhere else, because I'm going to tell you this. If you go coach football somewhere else, guess what? They're going to want you to win too. Hire the proper people. Hire the proper people who can not only recruit but can develop. Not only can develop but can recruit. Well, that's a tall task. You're offering a lot of money to come coach positions and to develop players. I think you'll find somebody. I think you will. I have this hunch. A lot of people will do a lot of things for a lot less than $500,000. I think you can find coaches who can legitimately get the job done. But I am telling Clemson community, I am telling you now, leave Cade Klubnik alone. If you want to go after anybody, go after the men who did not prepare that young man who he hadn't lost a game since he was in the 6th grade, played in the highest level of Texas football. And he lost his game at Clemson. Not because he played a team who was just way better than him. No, because his coaches failed him. If you want to start questioning anybody, question them. And when they get offended over it, just start bringing up facts. You didn't set him up for success. You didn't work him into the game plan. Well, it's easy said from out here to you. We're not being paid $500,000 to do what you're supposed to do. We're not being paid $1 million. We're not being paid $10 million to do what you're supposed to do. Stop getting so defensive. Own up that you have messed up. Stop hiding behind 10 wins and an ACC banner, because the ACC is trash. And look at Nick Saban and say, hey, how he coaches, that's what I want to do. You can still present good morals, but pick up his processes. You can still raise them to be good men who graduate. Just pick up his processes. Stop hiding behind that. It's obvious. Folks, I am going to pull up the comment section. I'm going to answer some of these, and then y'all, I am going to go to bed. There's a lot of comments in here. A lot of comments. All right. Y'all forgive me if I overlook you. Sterling Swords, good to see you in here. Matt, hey Brian, how's it going? I actually took a nap today for the first time in a very long. I'm not a nap guy, but this past week has been just so filled with so much, late nights, and last night I played at church this morning. It was early morning. So I slept. I'm doing better, but I'm about to go sleep some more. Hope you're doing well. Halo Master 96 in here is just stirring the pot as usual. Got Chase Henderson, one of the Henderson sisters, ladies and gentlemen, one of the Henderson sisters. Oh, I see Parker has joined. Let me tell you this. I won't tell you which one of them is more handsome than the other. But I will say it's neither one of them. I love you guys. SPH Huntsville. Good to see you. What's up? I'm here and alive. Adam Armstrong, I'm glad I found your channel. I used to think I was the only Clemson fan that noticed the decline in development of offensive players and lackluster play calling on that side of the ball. Yeah, there's a lot of people who has hurled a lot of insults at me and said a lot of crap to me since about midway through the sophomore season of Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. I took a lot of crap for it. And I'm glad you found my channel too. I hope you subscribe, and I hope you pass this along to absolutely every Clemson fan, whether they hate me or love me, whether they agree with you or disagree with you. Pass it along to them, because I'm going to tell you, I have been beating this drum since sophomore season. Something did not look right, and it was player development. Jonathan Benton, ahoy, hoy. That wouldn't be a Dave Lando comment, would it? Dave Lando he's something. Larisha, I thought he had a good game. I think Tennessee just played outcoach. They outcoached Clemson. Josh Heupel can coach his butt off. The big thing with Tennessee is they need to get a really solid. They need to make sure their defensive unit is really, really good. Now, I had some Tennessee volunteers come on here, which a lot of them has been very, very kind. I had one who told me, said, "Hey, look, our DC is fine. We'll be fine." Okay, maybe, but I'm just telling you, y'all need to put an emphasis on defense, because if you can get your defense to be top 10, elite level, y'all will win a national championship in the next 3 years. Take that to the bank. Do a timestamp, January 1st, 2023. Brian and I on Not Bobby Durkin's channel said Tennessee would win a national championship in the next 3 years if they get their defense to an elite status. Jonathan Benton says the handling of the quarterback position for these past 2 years is just bizarre. It got bizarre. It became more obvious over the past 2 years just because Trevor Lawrence was just that dang good. He was just that amazing, which now makes me think he was even more amazing than what we first thought. He hid a lot of their blemishes. Rashad Bourne, Bobby D, what's up? Your resident Tide fan is here. Rashad, it is good to see you on here. It is good to see you on here. Make sure you've subscribed to his channel. I know you're subscribed to Bobby Durkins. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. It's good to see you. Me and Rashad's talk trash to each other. It's a lot of fun. St. Germain, he did as well as he could, consider he can't win by himself. It's a team sport. You're dang straight. It's not basketball. It's not basketball. Basketball, you can win a lot of games with one good player. College game proves that. Try to go through this a little quicker. Thomas Lee, spot on here, DJ. Mismatch system, skill set. I'm telling you, folks. I'm telling you. I saw that guy throw some passes that curl your toenails. It's poor development. Poor development. Wrong system. Or the lack of the ability to adjust the scheme to his abilities. If you're going to go recruit a kid and bring him 3,000 miles across the country to come play football, you dang well better know his skill set, and you dang well better be willing to change things up to fit that skill set, especially if he can win with it. Cade's first full game should not have been against a team as good as Tennessee. We have a problem with developing our quarterback. Trevor's best year was his rookie year, Jeffrey Sire. I apologize if I mispronounced your last name. Yeah, you're 100% right. Yeah, it was his rookie season. Everybody said that. And please go dig through my Bobby Durkins videos. You'll see where I talked about it and beat that drum for a while. Hambone Shane Hamby. Gloss over reactions by the establishment is what I'm worn out with. We keep being exposed and having to fix it. This is a recurring theme. Shane, I'm going to. Are you from the Oconee County area? There's somebody I know that has that same name. I can't see your picture really good, but I agree. I agree with what you said. It's just that name really clicked. There was a Hamby who used to date an old friend of mine. Got George in here. It's good to see you, George. Larisha, DJ will find a good place. Yeah. Ridge Runner, anybody that would criticize Cade at this point needs their head examined. Yeah, unfortunately, Ridge Runner, there's a lot of people who needs to get their head examined. Let me see. Going down here, try to catch a few more. SEC dog can't spell hell without Clemson. SEC dog, you're such a God. I'd like to punch you in a good way. I'm glad you're here. Congrats on the win last night. That was a crazy game. Hey, they played y'all way better than I think anybody expected. Yeah, that was a good game. Noel Squad said Clemson needs to hire Garrett Riley. Please forgive me for not knowing who that is. I'll definitely look into them. I'd be fine with 10-11 if we didn't have the potential to be better and we got beat by really good teams. Yeah, Dale, that's my thing. If you lose a game because you put your best foot forward, you put your best scheme forward, you put your best team forward, and they develop the players, and you go out there and you get bested. Okay, that you're going to be ticked. You're going to be let down because you're a fan. You're going to be let down, hurt, annoyed. By the way, 78 people in here, only 34 thumbs up. Hit thumbs up. It helps if you've not subscribed, it's free. By the way, thank you to everybody who got me to over 1,000 subscribers. So that means I can monetize my videos now. It helps cover the cost, helps me buy new mics and stuff like this to make the channel a little better. So thank you so much. By the way, especially in today's YouTube world, I reached 1,000 subscribers pretty doggone quick. And I appreciate all of y'all. I want to thank specifically Parker and Chase Henderson for doing that. They posted without me asking them to, they posted my videos to some Clemson forums, and they did that, and that really helped me. I mean, Parker just did. One day I just saw like my subscriber rate go up like 150 in a couple of days. I thought, whoa, what happened? And Parker just passively said, yeah, man, I put it on a couple of forums. I hope it helped. That was very kind of him. If you want to do the same, even if you hate my guts and you want to make fun of me, I'll take it. I'll take the subscribers. Thank you so much. Thanks to the Henderson sisters for their help. Great help. Yeah, Dale. I mean, if you lose because the other team you both put your best foot forward and their foot won, so to speak. That's one thing. When you look and you see what's going on, this is not good schemes. This is not good player development. This is just pure out. We've had success. Now we're just going to ride the waves. And if you don't like how we're riding the waves, then you're the problem. You're the problem. The one we asked for your support. We told you when we won 10 games and won the ACC championship, calm down. This is not the goal. The goal is championships. And to be a consistent championship contending football team. That was what we were told. And now we were all in. We believed it. And now we're the bad guys for being all in and believing it. Once again, go watch Nick Saban during that Sugar Bowl trophy presentation yesterday. You can still teach men, these young guys, how to be good young men. You can still do the Tiger Journey or whatever they call. You can still make sure they graduate at a high rate and still be a good football coach. There's not a trade out there, folks. That's like these rock stars, like some of the greatest guitarists. I had buddies of mine who, because I'm a musician, they'd be like, "Oh man, he used to do this and do that," and it's like, dude, his great guitar playing was not because he was a coke addict. Forget the cocaine. Focus on his guitar regimen. What did he practice? How long did he practice? What was his approach? Who was his favorite players? What did he listen to in his part time? You don't need the cocaine. You don't need to go sniffing coke to become a great guitarist. The process is totally wiped out. No Squad said that Florida State's coming back. They might very well be. And if they don't, Deion Sanders is coming back. He'll be your next coach. Timestamp that one. Dave Steller said Cade showed potential, but still needs to learn more. Yeah, he could have learned more while he was out on the field. Instead, they set his tail on the sideline, and when they sent him out there, they didn't send him out there with the first team offense. Let's see. Going Dwayne Wicker. Did you just hear that 3 national powers is one league is not good? Did you just hear that 3 national powers in one league is not good? I don't know what I missed there. Yeah. T. Stevens said Josh Heupel looked like the coach that's been there before. Subpar offensive coordinator and poor development equals failure. Recruiting will take a bit of a hit come next year. The ship will continue to do this. And Oklahoma won a lot. Oklahoma underperformed so much for many, many years. So much. They became complacent. And I do believe that we're in the mindset of Oklahoma. The Bob Stoops, Oklahoma. He was part of the Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma. They get in the playoffs, get their head ripped off. Go through here and we'll scroll through these. Folks, if I overlook your comment, please don't take offense to it. It's just a lot in here. I'm just trying to get through here. Under here. Try to get caught up here. I love Dabo. Dabo is like an alcoholic who is tearing up the family, and the family wants to confront him. Remember, he is the breadwinner. Good point, Parker. You just won there, my friend. You just flipping won there. That is a brilliant. I'm gonna pin your comment. I'm pinning your comment. Parker Henderson, I want you to see this. I love Dabo, but Dabo is like an alcoholic who is tearing up the family, and the family wants to confront him, but remembers he is the breadwinner. Very well said. Had a Tennessee fan show up on one of my videos and said, a lot of people talks about Heupel being the big hire. Can't spell Dork and Dur without Dabo. Come on, SEC dog. But a Tennessee fan said one of the biggest thing that happened to us, talking about the Volunteers, was that they hired an AD, the right AD. They hired the right person. Folks, I'm going to tell you this: administration and hires It actually means something. Kind of my closing thoughts. Hit Wonder 101. I'm a diehard Clemson fan, but if things are not turned around quick during the offseason, the damage will not be able to be undone. I think we're there already, unfortunately. I think that the lack of the lack of willingness to look at the offensive side of the ball, especially, and say, you know what, we just don't have the player development. We can fix this. See, how innocent was that? We can fix this. We didn't go off into a dark room, turn on some Nirvana, and start cutting ourselves and say we're no good. That's how Clemson's coaching is responding. Some of them are responding to this, folks. I'm serious. I love Sweeney, but Sweeney when he gets defensive, he reminds me of a teenager. He gets rebellious and says, "I'm going to go I'm going to go in my room. I'm going to turn the lights off, listen to Nirvana, and I'm going to start cutting on myself." Seriously, he does not act like the same Sweeney. He does not act like the same Sweeney. He does not. I don't care if he did win the ACC championship. He once again, if you have better talent and you can develop players better and you can make better hires, you'd be in the college football playoff and probably a front runner to win it. We have a lot of talent on the team we've wasted. We've wasted. Clemson has wasted talent, and they are currently wasting talent. That's not okay. Not in any dimension. Sweeney is not. Once again, love the guy. I don't know what's happened to him. He's not the same guy. He is now defensive. He is now irritable. He is upset. He is upset at Clemson fans. He is upset at Clemson fans because we're looking at him going, dude, you made us this way. You told us to expect more. You told us that the ACC championship was not all it was supposed to be, or the height of the pinnacle that we would reach with you. You told us that it was supposed to be. You told us we were supposed to expect championships because that's what you wanted to build and what you were going to do. You did that. And now you're turning on us because we're looking at you saying, not only are you not doing that, something's up with you, man. You're not acting right. If Sweeney came out tomorrow and said, guys, there's some stuff going on with me personally, and I've been trying to hide it, not been doing a good job of it. Let me tell you this, Clemson community wrap their arms around him and say, dude, you got to take care of you and your wife and your family. If you need to take a sabbatical, take a sabbatical. This turning on us and looking at us and telling us we're wrong. We're saying players, talents who are not being developed and being wasted, questionable coaching decisions like having Cade basically sit on the bench for no apparently good reason, not working him into the system, coaching hires that doesn't make sense, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And we're the bad guys. I'm sorry, folks. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Leave, and I'm going to say this again. I'm closing this down. Leave flipping Cade Klubnik alone, folks. Cade Klubnik was set up for failure. Anti-AG said this, and I'm afraid this is where we're at. Said Sweeney is going to take his $11 million check and win 9 to 10 games until he decides to retire. He won two national championships in the past few years. Therefore, he doesn't have to try anymore. You're right. That's it. You have 70-year-old Nick Saban standing on a stage accepting the Rose Bowl trophy. Or not Rose Bowl, the Sugar Bowl trophy. Rose Bowl's tomorrow. And he looks as mad can be. Why? Because that old man still wants a championship. That old man wants a championship. Once again, some of you out there, I know you're going, well, I'm telling you, I'm proud of the young men that Dabo has has put out, and how he's got a good graduation rate. Folks, I'm not talking about scrapping that. I said you can still do that. All you need to do is look at Saban and go, how does he keep winning? He's willing to make adjustments. He's willing to make the proper hires. He's willing to make the proper fires. He's willing to go into the transfer portal when needed. He's he's looking to have his players develop as much as possible. You can still make sure these young men are young men. You can still make sure that they're graduating at a high rate and they're treating people well and they grow up to be. You can still have that special thing. But let me tell you right now, don't you play on our feelings and turn around and try to dangle that in front of us and say that you can't win more, or you can't develop the players that you have, or you can't make the proper hires, and use that, oh, I'm developing players to play on people's emotions. Folks, I'm sorry, I just don't buy that. That's called manipulation. Maybe he's not doing any of this consciously. I don't think he's a bad guy whatsoever. I don't want him to leave. Don't want him to. All I want him to do, make the adjustment, dude. Make the adjustment. You're a man. You're a man. Make the adjustment. It's the next chapter of your life. Man, it'd be a great story too. Yeah, man, I got into a lull for about 3 or 4 years. And then boom, I realized it. Man, I'm the one who is keeping us from moving forward. Sweeney, we love you, dude. We don't want you gone. We want old Sweeney back. I mean, I'm just telling you. Jimmy Brown makes a comment. I watched the game. I watched the game against BC in 2015, and Clemson fans and players was happy, and Tigers was rocking. We had not won a national championship or championships yet, but it didn't happen. We was happy. What happened? He won championships. He told us not to be overly happy over just winning, that we were supposed to win. He told us that he was going to build the program. He told us that once he built the program, that we were supposed to expect championships, because he was going to bring in the players, he was going to develop them, and he was going to have us competing at the highest level of football. And that we need to understand that the goal was not 10 wins in the ACC championship, that the goal was to be a national championship contender every year. And yes, it was hard, but he knew that he had the players, he had the system, he had the fan base, he had the support of the donors, he had the culture, he had the area of Clemson, which is a beautiful area. He had all of that, and there was no reason why we shouldn't be winning and contending for championships. And now he's backtracking. That's what happened, Jimmy. That's what happened. He created this. Yes, Dabo Swinney created every bit of this. I think what he would love to do is now take us back in time and not tell us that. Guys, we're doing this. We're just going to try to keep growing year after year. He could have stopped there. But no, he looked at it, because Swinney was hell-bent on being a winner. And he did it. That is what I cannot. My hair's all messed up. Who cares? I took a nap. I semi have bed hair. I've said this once, and I'm going to say it again. We just want the old Swinney back. That's it. Period. That's what happened. Closing thoughts. Yeah, Kevin. Streeter said we just didn't execute. Streeter's. Yeah. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. That's a broad response. Also, if you watched that Sugar Bowl and that game yesterday, the analysts and the announcers were talking about meeting with Nick Saban, and they were talking to him about losing 2 games by a total of 4 points. And they said that he was, calm and cool, collective, and he was just talking and said when they brought that up, he said that they lost because of 6 plays. That 70-year-old man, yes, 70-year-old man sitting there with 7 national championships. They said he sat straight up and he leaned forward and said he started getting irritated, started talking about 6 plays that cost them those 2 losses. Said he went into pure detail about what happened, when it happened, how it happened, why it happened. He remembered it right off the top of his head. Why? Nick Saban wants to win. He wants to win. He still has red in his veins. He's not going to talk about the last national championship they had. He's not going to talk about the Heisman Trophy. I can't speak. The Heisman Trophy winners that they've had. He's not going to talk about all the first round picks that they've had. He's not going to talk about all the All Americans they've had. All the SEC championships, which means nothing to him, that they've had. It's just a stepping stone to the national championship. He's not going to talk about all the success, all the domination that he's had in the SEC. He's not going to talk about the 7 national championships. Just the truth. It's just the truth. He still wants it. Folks, I am going to shut up. Closing thoughts. Leave Cade Klubnik alone. Flip and leave him alone. This kid was set up for failure. He was not worked into the game plan. I mean, my Lord, if he would have ran 3 drives in each game, by the time he hit the North Carolina game, he would have had 36 drives under his belt. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but that'd have been a lot more than what he had. This just doesn't make sense. So, closing down as well, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Pass this along to anyone who likes Clemson football, hates Clemson football, just likes college football, likes to just hear somebody throw down and talk about the craziness that goes on. Hit the subscribe button, pass it along. As I said, also hit the thumbs up, turn on notifications. And I will be talking about the state of Clemson football over the next few days. Of course, Rose Bowl is tomorrow night. I'm really looking forward to watching that. That'll be interesting. Also, national championship. I do a video on Georgia and TCU. Spoiler alert: I think Georgia's going to win this game because they're just really, really physical up front, and I think that's going to. I think that's going to be hard for TCU. I will be pulling for TCU. No offense, SEC dog, but the truth is, I believe that Georgia's just going to. I think they're going to bruise them. Is what I think they're going to do because that 3-4 is really going to have. It's going to be tough to defend Georgia in the passing department. It would work, but if Georgia was anemic on the front line and couldn't run the ball well and didn't have really good running backs, the truth is I would say, okay, TCU really has a shot. I'm not saying that TCU does not have the shot. I'm just saying that I really don't see TCU hanging in this game. I will be shocked if they do, just because funny, it's funny SEC dog. I really like Max Duggan's story. Sonny Dykes deserves to be the coach of the year. I mean, the guy did amazing. Also, that shows you right there what happened. Gary Patterson had been at TCU, did some really, really good things. He just became complacent. Sonny Dykes takes over his team, is playing in the national championship a year later. I know that's uncommon. I'm just showing that's the difference between someone becoming complacent or just, well, hey, we're doing good. What more do you want from me? You're spoiled. Versus someone who goes, I want to win a championship. Those approaches are going to be totally, totally different. So, there we go. I look forward to doing those videos and talking to you guys this week. Thank you once again for all the comments. I appreciate the chatter. It's just hilarious to watch y'all go back. I could just sit here and watch y'all talk. Uh, um, so it's a lot of fun. Y'all take care. Happy New Year to you. Hope you have a safe, glorious year. And if you're going to set New Year's resolutions, at least let it be something you can remotely keep, and just go for it. So y'all be good. Even on a bad day, it's good to be a tiger, even though right now I probably need an anxiety pill. So y'all be good. Catch you later.